Hey YouTube, TurtleLags here, bringing you another AFK journey video. This is actually my second take, just revisiting the topic that one of my viewers asked me yesterday, and that several of my viewers have asked me pretty much every single day for the past week, which is it worth max refreshing your 2-hour instant AFK rewards? And I'm referring specifically to this right here. As you can see, if I go to my AFK progress, I did max refresh today. That's this hourglass on the bottom right. But I did do a mental exercise yesterday with my viewers, and I came to the conclusion that actually max refreshing is not worth it at all. And I'm going to explain the reason why. Especially once you get high enough, like in my case, I'm resonance level 830. As you can see here, the amount of season essences that it takes to get from level 830 to 831 is 1,787 season essences. I have reached a point now where even using all 6 of my max refreshes, the 2 free ones as well as the 50, 100, 200, and 300 gem ones, only gets me about 210 times 6 season essences, which is about, it's like barely even 1,300 season essences. So doing 6 max refreshes doesn't even get me 1 level up from 830 to 831 or 840 to 841, etc., etc. And as you can see here, my row, if you look below the level up, it says that I have 6.2 bill EXP books and I have 88 mil gold. And at this point in the game, because my equipment has been maxed for over a month and a half now, so I have almost nothing to spend gold on besides max refreshing for leaderboards, or just buying more attempts for max leaderboards in Dream Realm, because in Dream Realm, though, it's heavily RNG, and that's actually another reason why max refreshing is hardly not worth, because if you notice here, let me see if it explains here. Well, if I go into battle, you'll probably notice that even though I am resonance level 830, my resonance level in Dream Realm has actually been hard capped. I think the base is something like 500 and something, and then for every, say, like 10 or so resonance levels, it converts to just 1 resonance level in the Dream Realm, which means that my resonance level is not that much higher than someone who I am, say, like 100 resonance or 200 resonance levels above outside of this mode. So what are the implications of this? The implications of this is that at a certain point, I would say like around resonance level 500 or so, or 520, as some of my viewers have suggested, the benefit you get from several hundred more resonance levels higher does not actually help you in the Dream Realm. And Dream Realm arguably has the best rewards in the game. This is where we get the majority of our temporal essences. 4 temporal essences here when the highest rank, and then an additional 2 temporal essences if you're highest ranked in your district. So now we could kind of do a devil's advocate here. So what would be the advantage of max refreshing? The advantage of max refreshing would be to have an edge for 2 different game modes. One is AFK stage deficit pushing, because as you can see here, the higher your AFK stage progression, the more passive amounts of gold you receive, season essence, and season EXP per hour. And this can potentially translate to a slight advantage once the season is over and all your season resonance levels, etc., and artifact EXP, equipment EXP, etc., gets converted in some unknown formula towards your regular season proficiency and that sort of thing. I think the main thing is you would have more proficiency. However, as many of us, or I think we all have experience with Song of Strife, is that the regular season, in this case, I'm resonance level 339 in the regular season, it hardly does anything. I personally have not noticed any significant advantage of being resonance level 339 compared to someone who's like 200 or 300 something, because first of all, it takes forever to level up one level for resonance synergy, and second of all, this resonance synergy doesn't really have that much of an impact for the season. The season levels actually matter more up until a certain point. Also, one of my viewers, Inkia, made a very good point that, because it costs 50 gems, 100 gems, 200 gems, then 300 gems to get each instant AFK per day. And 500 gems for 420 dust is just not worth it. And I would agree with that 100%. The other consideration too is that for the season trial, as you can see here, if I was to go ahead and attack, you'll notice that if theoretically I was to stop max refreshing now, I wouldn't get as much proficiency each day, which means that these enemies will hit me harder and I'll do less damage to them. That's basically how proficiency works. As you can see here, the enemies are level 954, 55, and I'm only 830, 840. But the thing is, the rewards for the season tower is basically these right here. These are special essences that are used to level up your artifacts. But you'll notice that for the artifacts, the amount of resources it requires to, say, get an artifact from level, say, like 20 to 21 is 5 of these memento shards, which means that if you are getting one memento shard every 5 stages, then you pretty much need to clear 25 stages to get enough memento shards to level up this artifact once. And notice how the only stat gain you get is 0.8% physical defense, 0.8% magic defense, and 0.3% attack. That is barely one resonance level up. That's hardly nothing considering how many max refreshes you would need to do to accelerate your progress to get your artifact one level. And this certainly does not compensate for any sort of RNG that you may have in the Dream Realm, where the opponent doesn't lucky crit on you as often and you get more lucky crits on the enemy. Lucky crits will trump any sort of stat boost you get from your artifact level up, or any minimal stat boost that you get from after your resonance level is converted with that weird conversion into the Dream Realm. Yeah, memento shards are not enticing. Yeah, exactly. So, thank you, Reggie. So, I don't want this video to be too rambly, but basically at the end of the day, you have to think about why you are max refreshing in the first place. If you care about leaderboards, as I did at one point, then sure, you can push your resonance level super high, as I did up until today, as you can see here. So for me, up until today, I have been max refreshing. As you can see, even with me max refreshing, I'm still not the highest resonance level, because I also don't whale for season essence packs. But there are some Leviathans that will, because they care about the leaderboards. And as you can see here, even though I'm 4th in resonance level, I'm number 2 in AFK stage pushing. At the end of the day, I think the amount of time you put into AFK stage pushing and just how good you are at manualing your team will have more of an impact than your resonance levels, heck, even your EX weapon investment. Because the people I'm competing against, like Zero and Mglad, these two heroes, they have P4 units and they have like EX20 on all their main heroes. Whereas for me, I have maybe like 3 P2s, and I don't have EX20 on all my heroes. Like my, my Burial's EX10, my Floorbell's EX10. I have a lot of heroes who are EX10. Heck, I didn't even get my Lumont EX10 until maybe earlier this week. So yeah, saving 500 gems a day is definitely going to help 99% of people's accounts way more. I agree with Cheetah Boy's statement 100%. As a matter of fact, it probably would even help my account more, because I do think getting closer to Paragon is probably more important than the scoreboard, right? So I anticipate that as I stop max refreshing, I will probably see a drop in my performance in AFK stage pushing and legend trial, assuming that the people below me are still max refreshing. One thing that Inkia suggested was actually considering maybe doing the 2 free max refreshes as well as the 50 gem one, because you need anywhere between 210 to 300 gems per summon, and so 50 gems is at most a fourth of a summon, which is not bad. That's essentially you're only sacrificing a summon and a half per week, and you still get 6 to 7 extra refreshes per day, which is about 1,700 times 210. So that's like 1,470 season essences per week, which is not even enough to get one hero to the next level. Another thing to keep in mind is that even if you were to push AFK stages, the only thing you get are artifact shards, which really these are almost useless because you always end up with a surplus of artifact shards for your season artifacts, and then season essences, which the only thing it helps with really is getting your resonance level up higher, which once again only impacts 2 negligible modes: more AFK stage pushing as well as higher season faction tower, which translates back to more resonance levels. I don't think that the 1 or 2 extra converted season resonance levels in Dream Realm will make up for the amount of extra gems they're spending. Not to mention when you enter Supreme Arena, based on the calculations here, so as you can see here, season levels exceeding 560 are set to 560. For season levels beyond 560, only a minimal amount is added to the baseline level. Unlocked higher level skills remain unaffected. So if I was to challenge someone right now, like let's say, so I'm actually curious what my conversion is. Wow, so I went from resonance level 830 all the way down to 572, and even though I am rank 4 in my district for resonance levels, look at how little of an advantage I have over the opponent, right? The opponent is only 4 resonance levels below me. We're evenly matched. I mean, obviously this is great news for free-to-plays and low spenders, because that way it's more, the only thing that they have a serious advantage over you in is Paragon and EX Weapon, which requires a lot of money. A lot, like more than even I would spend. But it does make it less enticing to max refresh. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.